Welcome and welcome back to my channel Booms Bay Beauty. If you are new to my channel, my name is Juliana. Welcome to another review video. So in today's video I'm going to be reviewing the brand Cosmic brushes, and it's a UK brand that I have only just heard about in the last 1 month. I cannot believe I've not heard of them, but it is what it is. So I've got 2 of their palettes. I believe these are the only palettes that they've released. I didn't see any other palette on their website. So I first got the Royal Rose palette, and then I recently just got the Serenity palette. So at the time I bought these, this was out of stock. Then when they restocked, I went and got the Serenity palette. In all honesty, I really didn't want to get a Serenity palette because I have a lot of single shadows and I can easily do this shadow twice over. So this is the inside of the Serenity palette. I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, you know I have all the shades in single shadows from different brands. So I really didn't want to get it, but because I had gotten the Royal Rose and I loved it, I thought I might as well get the Serenity palette. So this is the inside of the Royal Rose, and if you know me, you just know that this is me. This is absolutely beautiful. When I saw the pan, it was on sale as well. I just could not believe it. I immediately put in my cart and got this one. This one is so beautiful. So I've got swatches of both of the palettes on my Instagram. So the way I swatch row by row, and I put a picture of the palette with the swatches so you can just see how each of the shade swatch like. But as we all know, there's nothing like a live swatch. Well, for me anyway, I love live swatches because I can see physically right there and then, you know, what the shadow swatch is like, what it looks like, which is why I'm reviewing both of the palettes, and I'm going to be swatching most of the shades in both palettes today. I've already done a look with the Royal Rose palette and it's already on my Instagram page. As for the Serenity palette, this is the palette I have on my eyes today. I haven't posted this picture. In fact, I've just done it today, so I haven't done anything. But I'm hoping that by the time you're watching this video, that look is already out on my Instagram and you can see in detail, you know, what it looks like up close and everything. But now let's get swatching each of the eyeshadow palettes. Okay, I'm going to start with Royal Rose. I can't get over how beautiful this palette is. Honestly, I really cannot get over how beautiful it is. Let me just bring it closer so you can see. Sometimes if you don't see something up close, you don't know how beautiful it is. It is absolutely gorgeous. Just in case I forget as well, bringing the Serenity closer. So beautiful, and it's totally different to the Royal Rose. I mean, I won't call it entirely cool tone, but it's more like in the dark range, if you like. I mean, look at both. This is so warm and this is more on the cool side, but looking at the 2 of them together up close, absolutely beautiful. And I don't think there's any repeat shade. I mean, each of the shades are quite unique. But I'm going to start swatching with the Royal Rose as mentioned earlier. Okay, if you're new to my channel, I mostly swatch shimmer shadows because that's what I love to swatch, and I also will swatch any matte shade that I think is a bit complicated. Well, the good thing about the palette is that there is 5 shades in each row, so I'll possibly be swatching 4 shadows from each row. So this is the first row, and the first one is a shimmer. You have a pink matte. Don't be deceived, they are beautiful and pigmented on the eyes, absolutely beautiful, and I never got fallout from them either. I'm going to build up that red, so that's all of them built. So the way the matte feel is like pigment. They are really pigmented and they appear as such on the eye as well. The color does not fade and it doesn't change. It's absolutely gorgeous. So this is the first row. Right, the second row, and this shade, this shimmer, absolutely beautiful. So swatching the pink shimmer first. Oh, that is gorgeous. And the yellow matte, look at that, absolutely beautiful. And this beautiful red metallic, that is just juicy, really juicy. Here's the third row on my fingers. Gorgeous. I think this is possibly my favorite row in the palette. Just look at that, absolutely beautiful. That blue, I'll wait for this one. How beautiful that shimmer is. Oh, this palette is so beautiful. Color story is gorgeous. If I were to recommend any one of these 2 palettes, this is the one I would recommend. Definitely this one. So these are the first 3 rows. Alright, this is the fourth and final row. I'm just gonna swatch them right here. That shade is very, very interesting. It's not red and it's not pink. This one as well, this is like an orange red, and this is purple, and the final shade, yeah, that last shade is this one, and I can't tell whether it's bronze or gold. That's what it is. So it looks like a bronze color, but it's got a lot of gold in it as well. Alright, so this is the Royal Rose palette, and these are all the swatches. Absolutely beautiful palette. If you love warm shades, you love reds, you love pinks, you love green, yeah, definitely this is the one to get. This is my favorite of the two. So this is the Royal Rose palette again. Now let's swatch the Serenity palette. Okay, time for the Serenity palette. Alright, the first row, this green is what I have like on my right up on my crease. Absolutely magical. I'm gonna start my swatch from here. Look at that. It's like a mint green. So beautiful. And that purple, I have it on my lower lid. Oh, this green, you can see a little bit of into at the end of the darker green. That's what I used to blend the green, the dark green out. I didn't use this one today, but these are the first time for swatches. Beautiful. Okay, second row. In the second row, this is the only one I didn't use today. I used all of these 3 shades today. It's beautiful. It looks similar to the kind of bronze shade in the Royal Rose, but it's just similar. They are different. There's 2 greens. Oh, absolutely beautiful. So this is more of a darker green. This is a teal green. But both greens, beautiful, blended well. No fallouts. As dark as these colors are, no fallout. Absolutely beautiful. So building those greens up, they are pigmented and beautiful. Yeah, so that's the first 2 rows. Alright, the third row, this blue I just wanted to point out is like one of the Beauty Bay's shimmers, the putty, soft putty one. That's how this blue feels. Well, let's see what it swatch like. So that's the blue. Oh my days. The swatch is even more beautiful than when I used it on my eye. I only used it in a small part of my eye, but wow, can't wait to use that all over my lid. So I kind of use it on the edge, but it's just a little bit to blend the shimmers to the matte, so I didn't really experience the full beauty of that blue today. But wow, so that's the third row. Okay, this is the fourth and final row. So we're going to swatch on this side. So that's the green, absolutely beautiful. I used that again today. Beautiful. This purple royal, whatever you want to call it, it's quite tricky to use, and I will explain a little bit more. But that's the fourth and final row. So that's the purple. It's putty, but it's kind of hard to pick up as well. Even on my brush, it was a bit hard to pick up. When you finally get to pick it up, I found that it works better on the finger. But today I kind of switch up how I do my makeup. Normally I do mattes, then I put a glitter primer on my eyes for the shimmers. Today I kind of like cut my crease, so I try to use the eyeshadow base as the kind of glue for the shadow, but it wasn't working for this purple, so I eventually had to put a glitter primer on my lid to make it kind of show up and pop more on my lid. It was the only one I found that I had that kind of difficulty with. It's not the fault of the shadow, it's just the way I used it today. If I had used it straightforward with the glitter primer, we won't be talking about this at all. So I just wanted to let you know. So if you're the type to cut your crease like I tried to do today, then it doesn't really work for that. You need a glitter primer for you to kind of like stick better and show up better. Basically, that's the best way to say it. And I think the reason is because the shimmers in the palettes, they are light as well, so they are quite similar. So I kind of I used this blue and this lilac here and this blue. So this was before this one, so I think they were too similar for you to kind of like pop more, but it did pop when I finally used the glitter primer. So I just thought I'd mention that. Nothing wrong with the shadow. Swatching it was beautiful. Eventually using it on the eye with the glitter primer, absolutely beautiful. This is the Serenity palette swatched. I mean, I can see what the fuss is all about, especially people that love purples, that love greens. But I mean, it's beautiful. But for me personally, I just have a lot of these shades, and that's why I didn't really want it in the first place. But if you don't have a massive collection and you don't have these colors, oh my days, they are so beautiful, and they are so unique as well. I love this shade. I love this green. Absolutely beautiful. These shimmers are in this palette. I mean, and you saw me swatch that blue. That was just so beautiful. So those were really beautiful today, and I'm gonna just try and swatch them on my palm so you can see how beautiful that is, especially that green. Look how beautiful they are. It's so beautiful. There's nothing like swatching on the palm. It just shows the silkiness of the shadow, and it helps shows the shift as well. So those are my favorite shimmers in the palette. Alright, final thoughts on both palettes. They are both beautiful. I feel like they are the same consistency in terms of quality and the way the shadows blend. This was beautiful, and eventually when I used this, it was equally beautiful. I didn't see any difference or variation in any of the two palettes. So when I used this one, I actually put on my Instagram, this is one of the quickest, the look I created was one of the quickest I've ever created, as in it was just effortless. It was so quick. I could easily think of a look to do, and it just worked the way I wanted it to work. I didn't have to do too much blending. The same thing with this one today, not too much blending. I mean, for such a dark shadow, you expect, you know, to kind of like be blending, but it was so effortless. You know, I laid the darkest I laid the teal green down first. Actually, this one I laid that one down first, and I used this to darken the outer corner, and I used this to blend out the colors entirely. Well, just a little bit on the edge, but the fact is it was just so silky, and I could use like a flat brush to kind of like creep the shadows on the edge of my lid, because I've got hooded lid. So to kind of make sure that you can see my shadows, I had to kind of like take my crease shade higher up, more than I would usually do if I don't have hooded eyes, basically. And I use like a flat brush, and it worked. Whatever brush I used today, it was blending brush, flat brush, tiny brush, liner brush, you know, to kind of emphasize the green. I don't know if you can see the green highlights just underneath the orange right there. You will see the look on my Instagram, but I kind of had to use a liner brush, and it worked. It just worked. I totally recommend any of these two palettes. I think it boils down to your choice. If you're trying to pick one of the two palettes, is if you like colorful rainbow like shades, or you like grungy purple green tones, cool tones, then you pick this. But they work perfectly. They are the same quality. One is not different to the other apart from the color story. So yeah, I totally recommend any of these two palettes. So based on my experience of both shadows and experience of the brand as well, the brand owner at least, in the way she handled the release of this palette and the website issues, also in the fact that little me, she came to like my post, is so much appreciated. I mean, if people are supporting your brand, I believe you should support them as well. At least show an acknowledgement that people are actually spending money on your brand. You know, the least you can do is come and like when they tag you in a photo. I believe that's the least any brand can do, really. So I quite appreciate that. Little things count sometimes. So for me, this brand is now on my radar, and based on the experience of these two, I would buy definitely the next palette that they come out with. I mean, my wish and hope is to be able to do a look on each of the palettes, but there's so many palettes and little time. But like I said, follow me on Instagram so you can see the look, and always write a little bit about my experience, especially with new palettes. I would always, you know, put a little bit of notes. So even if I can't do a look on my YouTube page, I mean, people don't watch tutorials anyway. If I can't do a look on my YouTube channel, there would always be a look on my Instagram page. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of this video. Hope you've enjoyed my review of these two palettes and the brand, and also the swatches. If you have enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you on this channel. And until next time, I'll see you. Bye.